I formed a band called Bandit, which was really my first record deal. And then there was Alexis Corner. I went and worked with Alex and sung the blues with him in Germany again. We'd done a lot of work there. And that was great for me because I met people at Zoot Money who, were heroes when I was a kid, as indeed Alex was. In fact, when I started singing with Alexis, I thought that was it. I thought, well, I've arrived, I've made it, And then I learned more about life off Alexis than music, because you were assimilating the music because you were playing with the people and watching how but he was tremendous with people, with kids that wanted to know about the blues, And we would come down in the morning, 11 o'clock, and Alexis would still be there talking to the kid. He had time for people, He was a good man, just as simple as that, really. And I was so happy with Alex. I really enjoyed it. But I had to go on, I had to go on and write my own things. So I went to Los Angeles to work with Carmine Appice and Earl Slick over there. And while I was over there, I met someone and they told me that PhD was getting put together. And they had heard me singing in the studio that I was in with Carmine and them. And they asked me if I'd be interested. Well, it was Tony Hymas and Simon Phillips, who I had a tremendous amount of respect for. So I came back to London and we formed PhD. And we done I Won't Let You Down, which was a massive song, I don't know why, but it still is. They were really a European band. The success was really in Europe for some reason. I don't know why. And then I came back and I'd written some songs of my own. I met Graham Lyle, who I'm working with now. And I wrote I Should Have Known Better with Graham. And I decided to, try to have a go myself. I'd always been in bands and always been involved in bands. And I thought, well, I'll take the responsibility myself and see what happens. So at the end of that period, I finished with Hi Ho Silver, which was another incredibly successful song for me. And after that, a couple of things happened in my life, and I wanted to spend some time with my kids, and just some things got on top of me, so I decided that I needed to go away for a wee while. And while I was away, I started writing a screenplay, which was basically about where I was from, the East End of Glasgow. And through that I started writing songs about my childhood, and I suppose that's basically brought me here, This is it only took about 2 minutes to tell you, but it took years, believe me. I was born in Glasgow, and my parents, they lived in Bridgeton, which was in the East End of Glasgow. They were brought up in the red sandstones, and they had a room and kitchen there. When they had a family party, everyone had to sing. I can remember hiding behind the couch because my daddy insisted, everybody done their turn, And my father, who was a wonderful man and my hero, I still miss him desperately, had a great voice, and he would sing at the mantelpiece. So I sung when I was younger. And I think it's like everything, when people say, oh, you're very good, I thought, great, I'm no good at anything else, It's a lot to do with your mother and father. It's a lot to do with how your childhood was. I was terribly lucky, I always feel sorry for people when I hear them talking about their mum and dad, where, they don't get on with them, or they had a terrible time when they were a kid. I was terribly lucky. I was surrounded by a family who were marvellous. My father was marvellous, my mother was marvellous, and I suppose I associate that as much with the place as them. They made me love the place. They made me think that when I was there I was safe and I was comfortable, and nothing could hurt me when I was in Glasgow with my mum and dad when I was younger. And I can only remember love and affection and laughing and great things when I was a kid in Glasgow. People say, oh, you came for a housing scheme, oh, it must have been terrible. And it wasn't terrible, it was nirvana for me. We used to be out till 9 o'clock at night, and, if we wanted something to eat, we'd shout up at the window, and they would throw you a piece and jam, which was a sandwich, out the window, It just felt so safe and secure, and I don't know, I'm sure it's got to do with the people round about you, that's because they were Scottish. And I just felt, well, I'm Scottish and I'm safe here. I belong here. you know, it comes from Burns and, you know, all these great romantic people, and you know, they're a very, you know, that, you know, as everybody knows, the Scots are a warring race, you know, they've had a hard time, but they have a tremendous, they're all soft, really, you know. I mean, when I was younger, I would watch, you know, they were all hard men, and they were all, you know, hard-fighting men, you know, but, you know, they would go back to the wife and put on these old soppy country tunes and things, you know. So music was very important, because it let them express feelings that they maybe couldn't say because they were too much of a man to say it, you know, to their wife and things. So I always wanted to do that, you know. I always loved, it's the softer side of the Scots that I love, that what my mammy had and my daddy, and they were soft, and I loved it. I wrote a screenplay, and within the screenplay was about where I was brought up in Glasgow, and I was writing songs for it. I was trying to make a musical thing out of it, and I suddenly started writing songs about things that had happened to me when I was a child, which I'd never ever done before. I was influenced by Ray Charles and Otis Redding, and, you know, I wanted to write Dock of the Bay, and, you know, or Somewhere Over the these kind of things, you know. And suddenly I found myself delving into the experiences I had as a child and writing about them. And I thought, you know, they all became very Celtic for some reason because of who I am. And I thought I'd love to do some old Scottish things that I heard when I was a child.
It takes a Jim Diamond to do this sort of project. It's very difficult without it coming across, you know, in a sort of second-rate way, a sort of patronising way towards the Scottish heritage, you know, musical heritage. But he's got a great way of picking the right musicians and creating the right atmosphere in the studio.
The Irish have got a great way they export their folk music, you know, and it becomes now, you know, and it's always relevant because people don't change, just surroundings change. And I really there's some beautiful Scottish songs that I don't think have ever been done the way I would have liked to have done them when I was a child. When I heard them, I always used to think, oh, I'd love to hear Ray Charles sing that or something. So I just wanted to take a different look at it.
You know, once we start, and once I hear the sounds and how well the guys are playing, and they're all into it, there's nothing half-hearted about it.